Out of reflective yellow down into triangle. Through to super smooth through triangle. And Alex heading towards fallow.
Sandra Tomlin taking it very gingerly round the twiddly bits up at the top of the hill. But she's over the line. It's 67.57 as Alex Summers twitches out of fallow now, up the hill, on the brakes for Museum. And Alex Summers heads for the line. 52.73. That looks like one of the best times we've seen so far. 52.73 for Alex Summers.
Yeah, going very well indeed. Fastest through the speed trap as well. And away from the start line, Dave Uran, car number 9 in the Gould GR55B and 3.5 litre Nicholson McLaren engine.
And as we mentioned earlier, Dave Uran moved up into 4th place overall on the table after doing last weekend.
Right, well, car number 9 has disappeared off the timekeeping. Maybe he's tripped the clock at the start and then stopped before the rear wheels cross the line. So we'll just have to wait and see whether we do see number 9, Dave Uran. Right, we've been having echo problems in the commentary box. So, we'll just wait to see which car comes to line. It is Dave Uran, so it must have been a stall at the start. 2.54 for the first 64 foot, so not the quickest we've seen. At the moment, that's down into Kelvin Broad after lunch at 2.33. Here comes Dave Uran, down into triangle, Gould GR55. Up in the championship after Doon, ahead of Jason Morant. Dave Uran charging up towards the top of the hill and away from the start line. Car number 6, former champion Scott Moran.
And Dave Uran already into fallow now. A bit of a mixed season this year, 1-2 mechanical problems, but a tremendous result at Chelsea Wolf where he won the first round in the team. Had to the second by Will Hall in the second round, and it's 5-7-8 Dave Uran.
Scott Moran through the bottom part of the hill already. Out of keepers onto Cedar Straight. Heading your way, looks to be around about the same sort of time as Dave Uran.
Well, here is the 6-time British champion now, already up the hill into Museum. Doesn't look quick, but his runs never are. Fastest so far is that 52.73 from Alex Summers in this session. 54.69.
Jason Moran down into triangle with yet another of the Gould. This is the ex-Roy Lane, Chris Merrick, Tom New car, and already onto Cedar Straight. And Jason all the way from Jersey.
And that's as quick as anybody into fallow so far. Jason needs to get some good results to try and catch back up with Dave Uran again. Limited time available to do it. That's a good time, 52.86 for Jason Moran.
Yeah, he was up on the time all the way through until he got, he was behind the time all the way until he got onto Cedar Straight and then pulled it all back there. And 32.86, just 0.13 slower than Alex Summers.
Yeah, quickest so far into fallow, left the braking late as well. Top end of the hill, as you say, Steve. Very quick.
It was the quickest so far through the speed trap on Cedar Straight as well. We did get a car come into the line, which was possibly Will Hall, but again, nothing registering. And Will Hall popping and crackling his way off the start line. And he's heading to Hall Corner, then into Loggerheads, and should pop into view any second now. Here he comes into Fletcher's Dello, the Dorse WH. Ooh, and something slow coming out of Triangle, but back again. Not sure he's on full power, and he's heading up Cedar Straight, and this is going to be quite a relatively slow time.
Well, late on the brakes into Fallow, slides the car bodily across the exit of the corner. Knows this weekend he's got everything to play for. He really must win like he did at Doom both rounds to be in the chance. And 52.87, just 100th of a second slower than Jason Moran.
I know, that's incredible. He must have lost a second and a half down here easily. So that was looking more like a 51 than a 52.87 up till that point. So well recovered from Will. Away from the start line, Wallace Mingus in the Gould GR59, which has the 3.5 litre Cosworth XD V8.
Oh, well, they set the pace in this morning's slightly wetter practice. Now that was really 52.3 run.
Down into Triangle Bend, comes Wallace Mingus, gets a very tight line through the corner, back on the power early, car popping and banging as it heads up the hill. About a second up on Will Hall as he came out of keepers. He's still ahead.
Very quick into Follow, big cloud of spray again flying across the road as did Hall, but this was marginally quicker. Could it be a mid-52? It's still Alex Summers cricket in this session with a 52.73. It's a 51.70 for Wallace Mingus.
So Trevor Willis pops into view of Fletcher's Dello. Big quick came out of the corner, down into Triangle already. He goes very deep into the corner, back on swings round. He's got the power on, into keepers and onto Cedar Straight. And he's about a 10th of a second up at that point on Wallace Mingus.
Oh, this is very quick again. Another cloud of spray for the rear Wilson. Oh, runs a little bit wide though on the exit of Fallow. Lost a fraction of time there. Oh, 51.70 fastest practice time so far. Trevor struggling with the throttle come down. Ben Adams 51.61. Trevor Willis goes fastest.
Through Triangle already is Richard Jones in the Brabham BT29X with the 1.8 litre Ford BBE engine. He's heading up towards the top part of the hill, the only runner now in Class M. And away from the start line, Stuart Ridge, the final runner in the batches. This is the Pilbeam MP53.
Oh, the class record holder in Class M, Richard Jones, is already out of the top bend at Museum and heading for the line. Record, no interest, is 51.6 is a 50 in fact. This time for Richard Jones, about 10 seconds off his new pace.
So Stuart Ridge already through the bottom part of the hill in the Pilbeam MP53, the ex-Griffiths Harvey car from 1982. He's heading your way, and away from the start line, 719 David Garnett in the Renault Clio pops into view now at Fletcher's Dello.
So here comes Stuart Ridge with his ex-Martin Griffiths MP53, champion number 1. Running, as Steve said, on his own in the class, and 62.51 for Stuart Ridge. And I think this could be the last car in the batch because
yes, it will be 719, which is running solo in batch 1. He's the only one in that batch, so they've tagged him on to the end of batch 7. So David Garnett heading your way in the Clio.
And he's already into Museum in the car. At the shares, of course.
Ian Richards is his co-driver. They've been sharing the Clio for a few seasons now. And David Garnett through the finish, 67.99, which isn't a bad time really when you consider he's only about 3.5 seconds slower than his personal best. So good run there from David Garnett. And those cars at the top of the hill will now be making their way back down to the start area and into the paddock through the access here at Triangle. And then we'll be beginning the whole set of batches again, run through for our third practice run of the day. So just a reminder, it is a big thank you to Rybrook of Shrewsbury, BMW and Mini, for sponsoring this weekend's final round of the British Hillclimb Championship. It's their 10th birthday, and they have a display of cars in the paddock, and people on hand to answer any questions you have about those cars. And they've got the BMW M2 here today, along with a couple of Minis, one of which I think is our course car today. So you'll see Mini 2 heading up and down the course throughout the weekend. Well, the car's starting to come back into the paddock at this point, and Paul Crook leading the way. So many people up at the top of the hill, Jerry, or are you on your own?
No, there's quite a few people here under umbrellas. But,
hardy souls.
Yes, they're hardy souls indeed. Incidentally, you're more used to this top box than I am. I've been up here for a few years. Is there a volume control on that repeater through which I can hear you?
No, you've got to turn it towards the wall of the commentary box.
Yeah, I tried that. I was just a bit concerned that it was coming over through my mic, or is it okay?
Well, I can't hear myself speaking on that speaker, so I'm assuming it's not.
Oh, well, that must be all right.
The car's heading back into the paddock.
So, just another quick look at those times for the second practice run. So, setting a pace there on a 51.61. It was Trevor Willis, the man with everything to play for this weekend to try and get his third British Championship title. In second place, another 51.70 Wallace Mears. Then is 52.73 for Alex Summers, 52.86 for Jason Moran, on 100, second behind, 52.87 for Will Hall. Yes, even more spectators have turned up at the top of the hill here.
Well, it's certainly a great view at the top, and I say I'll be up there all day tomorrow. With, it starts at 8:45, isn't it, Jerry, in the morning?
It does indeed,
so,
yes.
We'll be here bright and early, so join us, please do, for a full day of motorsport. The final rounds of the British Hillclimb Championship and the British Hillclimb Leaders, which are both delicately poised.
And also, it's the BMTR
Midland
Top 10 Challenge and the Wind Developments Midland Championship as well. And that is the Midland Series is led by Robert Kenrick in the BMW 1 litre Raptor, and in second place Andrew Griffith in his Caterham Hayabusa, and that's exactly the same situation as we have in the Aventide Wind Developments NSA Leaders Hillclimb Championship.
Yes, it's very tight in all the four championships that are being decided this weekend.
Will Hall is actually leading the Top 10 Challenge, with Trevor Willis second and Alex Summers third, with none of them actually dropping points. So it'll be a straight head-on. So Will Hall leading Trevor Willis by just 4 points, and it's the other way round in the British Championship, although both are dropping points, so the situation a little bit more complicated to resolve the winner. But that will be revealed tomorrow.
Yes, we'll try and keep you up to date as we go through the day.
And if Trevor Willis does win the title, that will be his third title. He's defending champion, of course, and he won for the first time in Steve Owen's OMS 25, I think it was there.
And we're back underway into Triangle Bend. Edward Cotton in the MGZR 180. A pretty standard car running in Class A1 for Road Going Series production cars. And Edward already onto the run to Fallow, and following him, David Meek in the Mazda MX-5. MX-5 is becoming very popular at certainly at club sport level. Several championships running classes for MX-5.
So here's Ed Coffin now, and the ZR180 MG 70.20 for Ed Coffin.
So David Meek on to Cedar Straight. We look out for Rob Morgan in the Peugeot 205 GTI. Rob from Shrewsbury into Keepers Complex.
David Meek into museum now with the MX-5. Just looking out for Rob Morgan. And he's ready into start now and heading to Fallow. 77.18 for David Meek.
Dave Warner through Triangle with the Renault Clio R27. And as Dave Warner heads on to Cedar straight away from the start line, Rob Wilson in the second of the Peugeot 205 GTIs. Rob Morgan through the finish, 71.43. Dave Warner heading your way.
Looking out for the Clio now. And he's already through Fallow and up to the museum.
Well, that's a funny looking Peugeot 205. That's something we've not been told. That Rob Wilson is a Honda Civic.
Yes, I think that was probably changed at the last minute. I have some of the Civic on my list.
Down in Triangle at the moment, Dave West with the Peugeot 106 GTI. Car that he's campaigned for quite a few seasons.
Rob Wilson using quite a bit of the curve in the infield on the apex of Fallow. And a vastly experienced Dave West now in the 106 GTI. Used to be a very rapid at one time.
Richard Brandt now into Triangle with the Renault Clio Sport 172. He'll be the 2018 British Hillclimb Leaders class winner in A1.
Went to Doon last weekend, Richard Brandt for the first time. Not only the first time he's been to Doon, it's the first time he's been to Scotland.
Dave West time was 67.67. Richard Brandt heading your way. We look out for Ian Richards. We saw his co-driver Dave Garnett in the same car. It's the Clio Sport 182.
Oh, so you see Richard Brandt really pushing hard through the museum, using all the roads. Could be a quick time. And yeah, 65.25 from Richard Brandt. So Ian Richards, I think you said, was next, Steve?
Yeah, he is heading your way. We're looking out for number 27, Peter Herbert in the Porsche 911. And he's going to be a British Hillclimb Leaders class winner this year in this car in A2.
So Ian Richards is next across the line at the 68.09. No sign of Chris Westwood yet in the car that's changed class
Simon
from A2 to A1.
Simon Tarling, meanwhile, number 28, dropping down into Triangle Bend. This is the Porsche GT3.
So here's Peter Herbert at the top of the hill now. A bit of understeer from the 911 around the final right-hander. And time for the Porsche, 17.16.
So Simon Tarling heading your way, we're looking out for, and here he comes, Sean Toms in the Subaru Impreza WRX STI. And by the time I say that, he's already into Triangle Bend.
And number 28, Simon Tarling is exiting Museum now. So Sean Toms will be next up. Time for Simon Tarling, 69.72.
So Sean Toms heads your way, away from the start line, number 31, John Maycock in the Mazda MX-5. This has got a turbocharger fitted to the 1.8 litre engine.
And it's 64.30 for Sean Toms.
So John Maycock comes into view, he's going very quick in this car earlier today. No problems at all through the bottom part of the hill onto Cedar Straight. And John Maycock heading up towards Fallow. Away from the start line, Robert Lancaster Gay in the Porsche 996 GT3.
John Maycock, very rapid approach into Fallow, but gets on the brakes nice and early, tidy negotiation of the tight left-hander, and he's already heading for the line, John Maycock, and it's 65.57.
Robert Lancaster Gay through Triangle Bend in the 996. Very well planted car through here, no problems at all. And as Robert heads up towards the top part of the hill, away from the start line, Simon Durling in his Lotus 7 twin cam. Simon all the way from Shelsley Walsh.
Simon racing at Danville Circuit the other week in his Lotus 64.29. So it's like he's definitely faced with the Porsches in this class at the moment. Time doing, we've moved on to Class B now, road going specialist production cars. Still no sign of Chris Westford in the Elise. So it should be John Pitt next up with the four-wheel drive.
It is indeed, John Pitt in the AMS Tyre heading down into Triangle. This is basically a Subaru Impreza with a fiberglass body, and this should be very quick, or relatively quick, in the wet.
And Simon Durling's now over the line, 69.76 in the Lotus 7.
So John Pick heads your way. We look out for Jerry Neary in the Westfield SEI, Vauxhall powered. And Jerry pops into view.
We've got the AMS tyre half our box up at the top of the hill. And the time for John Pick, 62.94.
So Jerry Neary onto Cedar Straight, and we're now moving into Class C1 with number 40, Mike Moore in his MG Midget 1380cc. Dropping down into Triangle, single wiper working away.
And here's Jerry Neary, car number 37, to complete this three-car Class B. In a time of 72.43.
So John Pick way ahead of the other two in the class, as you would expect, the four-wheel drive car. Mike Moore heads your way. We've got Andrew Russell in the little Ginetta G15 with the Hartwell Imp engine.
Well, over 25 years, I think. And it's car number 30 with us now, which is Mike Moore in the midget, the first in Class C1 for 1400cc modified production cars. 77.39 for Mike Moore. Looking out for that familiar orange Enoch tail that you like, and here he is now.
We've got Gavin Neat in the Peugeot 106, and he will be the 2018 Hillclimb Leaders Champion in this class this year.
As Andy Russell heads to the line with the G15 and stops the clock on 66.63.
So Gavin Neat heads your way. We look out for Eric Moray in the Hillman in, a very, very well modified little car and a very, very quick one.
Yes, holds several class records. Eric Moray with his turbocharged 1 litre in. And Gavin Neat controls the understeer.
Oh!
Very well.
And a spin there for Eric Moray. He's going to go heading straight back into the paddock. Back end came round on him, but not as you would expect. It decided to do a 90 right as he came into the left-hander.
Oh, it looks as though Gavin Neat's setting the pace at the moment with the Peugeot 106, 62.85 for him.
And away from the start line, number 748, Paul Brown, heading down to Triangle already, the Peugeot 205 GTI. This is the car that Paul holds the class record with. And the class record standing at 54 seconds exactly. So just to see what he managed to win. Oh!
Alright, well we've still got 43 on our screen, but we're getting a time coming up now for Paul Brown.
We've got
runs right off at the exit of Fallow with 4 wheels, gets back on the road again and goes straight on and just hits the tyre barrier on the entrance to Museum Bend, but he's undaunted. Bit of rally crossing, back on the tarmac now and heading for the finish. So it's going to be a little bit of sorting out up the top, I think, here, just replacing the tyres.
Tim Barber, meanwhile, is heading your way. We've got a time eventually to Paul Drown of 75.44. Also on the hill was Andy Fraser in the Aston Martin. He was red flagged and he's being motioned to go back to the start area. Tim Barber's clock still ticking away, but I suspect he's already been red flagged somewhere higher up the hill.
And in fact, Paul Drown managed to go on the left-hand side of the outer cones on the corner. Not any of those, but just a bit of damage to the tyre barrier, and marshals are advancing to the scene just to replace those tyres at the end of the arm cone. But no real problems there for Paul.
Yeah, and it's now come up that Tim Barber was red flagged, as was Andy Fraser, so both of those cars will be eligible for a rerun.
So Paul Drown was double driving the Peugeot in Class C2 with Colin Satchell, who will be up in the next batch. So with Tim Barber on the hill, that means we're into Class C3, or hopefully we can qualify for that car.
Tim Barber already heading back to the paddock. They managed to get the car turned round. So not wasting any time, as always. The marshals here at Loton Park, great bunch of men and women who keep us all safe at motorsport events, and without them we won't be out enjoying our day's motorsport.
Yes, they're just manhandling a few tyres up here at the museum now. Tim Barber, of course, has been going very well in the Porsche Club HillClimb Championship this year with his 996 GT3. More marshals on the way. I think it's just some discussions to how to rearrange these tyres. The ones that are the little boost impact. Just protecting the end of the arm cut. Or should I say protecting the car from the end of the arm cut. A bit of,
I think you were right the first time, Jerry.
Yeah, no, they are actually joined together now, because that's why they want the extra marshals. They're dragging about 7 or 8 tyres in one go to the end of that arm coat. Sterling work by ever hard working marshals who are out in all weathers, of course. They have to be out in the rain as well as the sunshine. We seem to have had more of the former in recent weeks than we had earlier in the year. But, the repositioning has finished. More marshals arriving. Just to check on the situation. That Class C3, which Tim Barber is waiting to open, final runner in that class is Mike Turpin, who of course is the 5-time Midland Hillclimb champion, equaling Rob Stevens' record of titles in that series. Looks like the girl this year, he's actually in 5th place in the championship this year. But as we mentioned before, it's led by Robert Kenrick from Andrew Griffiths, and Jonathan Barley is in 3rd place from Richard Brandt, Mike Turpin. Rounding off the top 6, Ash Mason. And talking of Ash Mason, I'm not sure whether Steve mentioned this earlier. Apologies if he did, but if we go to Class D in the programme, I think that may have been corrected now. Steve Dave, in fact, shared
it has been corrected in the programme, Jerry.
Yes, okay.
But,
that's why you didn't mention it.
That's correct. One of the first things I did when I picked up my programme this morning was to check to make sure that had been done.
One of those last-minute changes. We've had quite a few of those.
Well, it was spotted by not only myself but by Rosie Boucher as well, who also spotted that error. So we both contacted the entry secretary to make sure that everything was correct, best we could for the programme. We've quite a few drivers have so far not taken their 3rd practice run, but having done 2 already, I don't suppose the 3rd one is going to teach you a huge amount. And cars, you don't want to do any damage to your car taking a third practice run if you don't need to. I know 1 or 2 people who could do with an extra practice run. No names.
This is the class called Paul Richardson up here as well, the Ryan Brook BMW Minute, which I had a ride in up to the top box here. So just a couple of course cars on the hill at the moment. We should be back in action fairly soon. The tyres have been replaced. I think there's going to be some more bands going on perhaps.
Oh, a little bit of banding. Yes. What tune are they playing? Yeah, well, we've got some interesting cars still to see in the class. We've got, but they will, I think they're actually in the next batch, yes they are. We've started to get the dual-driven cars from C3 and D coming up the hill. So once they've completed, that'll be the end of batch number 2, and we'll have a little bit of break while they come back down the hill, which is one of the bonuses if you're a competitor about hill climbing and sprinting, because you can share a car and cut your costs. And costs are always going up, never going down, of course. And it's always good to get the most out of your car in a season. And surprising how little extra wear and tear you get sharing a car.
Meanwhile, it seems I was wrong about the banding. That's all okay now. The course cars have now cleared the area. Marshall's back on post, so we can start the course. We've got 2 cars. 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 We've got 2 cars be back in action with Tim Barber very shortly in the 996. Then it's going to be Andy Fraser in the Aston Martin Vantage, which he shares, of course, with Tim Painter. And then Laura Wardle with the 911 Carrera, which she's shared with Jonathan Williamson. We were just trying to work this out. It must be a good 30 years, I think. Probably the longest standing shared car partnership in the history of hill climbing.
But
no, you're going to correct me here, Steve.
You think you're forgetting about Painter and Fraser? I think they've been going longer.
Yeah, not in the same car, though.
Oh, well, you didn't say.
I have now.
Curses flew again. Yes, there's, I can't think, I think you're probably right when it comes to sharing cars.
They've probably been sharing that Carrera longer than Andy Russell has been driving that G15 Ginetta, and that's a pretty long time.
I reckon that Ginetta knows its way up most hills without even Andy having to be in it. I mean, it's been doing it that long. I've lost count of the number of pictures I've got of an orange G15. But having said that, what a cracking little car. Over the years, when you think about it, that has been one of the most consistent competitors in hill climbing that we've had for a long, long time. Anyway, we are back underway, and it is Laura Wardle in the Porsche 911 Carrera on the hill, already heading up towards Loggerheads.
Amazingly quick off the line, this car. I'm not sure it's not going to be wet, but in the dry, had Gerson down a few weeks ago. And a aborted to the championship in the dry, back. Oh no.
Well, it's just under 2:45 in Laura's hands, and Tim Barber was 2:35, so a tenth of a second shy, and it's a lot heavier than Tim Barber's 996.
Yeah, the only car that was quicker, one of the big secret things not to forget, and Susanna McDonald was fastest off the line with the
four-wheel drive.
Yeah, we'll be seeing that car.
We've got Richard Davenall now sharing the Volkswagen Golf GTI this weekend. Not in his Boxster as normal.
So Laura Wardle, 67.45.
So Richard Davenall heading up towards the top part of the hill, and we mentioned him just a moment ago. Andy Fraser in the Aston Martin Vantage GT4 has left the line. Comes into view now at Fletcher's Dello.
Car, this is 4.7 litre V8, regular at 755 meanwhile, which is Richard Davenall with the Golf GTI. He's over the line in 77.53.
Oh, you've got a time for him. It's all frozen up down here.
Oh well, we've got it, had it, it's gone off now.
We've now got 750, appears to have come up on the computer, Tim Barber. And also leading the line, number 26, Ross MacDonald.
Now Andy Fraser with a bit of a misfire by the sound of it in the Aston. That's unusual, but he's over the line in a 67.23.
Right, we've got Richard Davenall's time now, 77.53. Tim Barber heading your way.
And he's already round the museum very quickly. Tail flight at the exit. Full hole, and that's back. 60.32 for Tim Barber.
Ross MacDonald in the very, very nice 911 SCRS, heading up Cedar Straight already, and we're back on schedule because we're looking out now for the Tom Reeves in the Peugeot 205. This is a tricky little car. It's got a 2.1 litre engine, just to put it in the over 3 litres, over 2 litres.
So here's Ross MacDonald, we're back to class A2 now, and Ross MacDonald is over the line in 72.56, so not quite as quick as Peter Herbert. Have we had Robert Manchester Gate yet, Steve?
Yeah, we did a lot earlier.
Yeah, so I think he was quick of an eye with those other people.
Down into triangle at the moment. It's 762. Graham Manton in the Fisher Fury with the 1.8 litre Z-Tech engine.
Meanwhile, we've got 757 just over the line, which is Tom Reed, Sergio, 237.
And down into triangle as well, number 767, D-Day in the Westfield. Not in the Caterham that he normally drives, he's in the Supercharged Westfield SEI.
And Graham Manson heads for the line in the Fisher Fury. So we're looking out for Steve Day. Graham Manson's time, 72.57. And Steve Day, former sponsor of the Midland Hillclimb Championship through his UK Changes company, is over the line already in Ash Mason's car, 64.53. Lots more power, he says, in his own car. Not surprisingly, his Caterham.
Isn't that the engine that used to be in the DJ? That they ran?
I think it is, yes, in the Supercharged Suzuki, yeah.
I'm not sure. I think that might be the end of the batch because the red flags are out. But they've come up in a rather hiddledy-piddledy group. So I think that will be a recall for the cars at the top of the hill.
Yes, it is in fact the end of the scheduled batch. Yes, all cars are coming back down the hill now. And we will recommence once they're back in the paddock with the remainder of Class C2. That's the 2 litre modified series production cars. First car we should see is Mark Lynn Ford Escort, number 44. This is the class of which Paul Brown was, which is running really short earlier of that insertion that we did. And Colin Satchell, driving that same car, is certainly going to be a hot tip for this class, but Steve Bailey could enter the equation with that very rapid Ford Escort.
Yeah, in practice, Paul Brown and Colin Satchell looked the quickest. Mark Linkford looked the most sideways, certainly through triangle. And Steve Bailey looked nice and controlled, and it was quite quick. So I think it's going to be between Steve Bailey and the Peugeot drivers for who's the quickest, certainly today. Simon Durling going past, looking like a drowned rat. His little Lotus 7.
Yes, I think Loton Park's a bit different to Stanbrook. Not so much stand for a start.
Ever so slightly.
Ladbroke Shrewsbury BMW Mini heading down towards you, Steve, so we should be back in action very shortly.
Right, red flag's coming back in. We'll be underway shortly. Class of the course just returning. It is Mark Linford that gets our third batch of cars underway with car number 44, the Mark 1 Escort. Heading towards loggerheads. Comes into our view at Fletcher's Dello. Dropping the triangle. Now into Keepers, out onto Cedar Straight, and as Mark Linford heads towards the top of the hill, Steve Bailey has left the line in the other Escort Mark 2. Into Triangle. Hayward last weekend getting his 205 GTI a run out.
On the nose lifts under acceleration as Mark Linford puts on the power in the Mark 1 Escort, and he's over the line, 68.73.
So Steve Bailey heading your way, and it'd be nice to see a direct comparison in times. He looks to be about 2 or 3 seconds up already.
Oh, it's Steve Bailey now, wipers going. Looks even quicker than Mark Linford. Yeah, 63.94 for Steve Bailey. So, as we said, Steve, it looks like it's going to be between Steve Bailey and Colin Satchel.
You can't rule Paul Drown out. He is the class record holder.
So you can't rule
Paul Drown. He's
no,
the class record holder after all.
not on this run though.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I didn't realise we were talking about this run only. Right, I was just meaning for the weekend.
Yes.
I think the two drivers of the Peugeot and Steve Bailey are the ones to watch.
Oh,
Certainly up at the sharp end.
So
Mark Linford was quite spectacular in second practice, not so much on that one, but I think it's not the sort of conditions down here where you want to be getting two sideways coming through corners.
He's 5 seconds behind Steve Bailey at the moment. Have we got Paul Jones or Tony Adams?
No movement off the start line as yet. And waiting for, we have, now, this is Colin Satchel, I'm assuming, coming towards us with number 748. Never came up on the computer. He's heading straight back into Paddock, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Maybe he's got red flagged. And again, nothing's appeared. So Colin heading back to the paddock.
No flags up here, Steve?
No, nothing down at the bottom. So we do have a car waiting patiently on the start line at the moment, and it's Jonathan Williamson in the Porsche, the 53, all the way from Taunton. Into loggerheads, Fletcher's Dello, heading down the triangle. Good tight line into the corner. Left-hand drive car, of course. Jonathan already out onto Cedar Straight, and following him on track, Martin Silcox in the Subaru Impreza WRX STI. He's already dropping down into the triangle. Four-wheel drive, of course, great big advantage in these conditions.
Four cars we haven't seen so far in this style then, but Jonathan Williamson's already into museum. So driver Laura Ward will set a 67.45, and Jonathan Williamson 65.92.
Down into triangle at the moment, number 55, Carl Stevens, in his Volkswagen Golf GTI. 2-litre turbocharged engine.
Here's Martin Silcox, vast experienced Hagley member with the Impreza WRX four-wheel drive, of course, and it's 69.15.
So Carl Stevens heads your way. We've just got Tim Painter coming into view at Fletcher's Dello, dropping down towards triangle in the Aston Martin Vantage GT4.
And Carl Stevens already in museum, he's going in behind. He used to drive his immaculate Mark II Escort some years ago.
Oh, he's still got that car.
Has he? Well, it's 66.24 in the Golf.
So Tim Painter heading your way. We've got David Hilton down into triangle with the 99 section GT3 RS he shares with Tim Barber.
Ah, so some of those missing cars are appearing. Here's Tim Painter in the big Aston. Usually manages to get the edge over his co-driver Andy Fraser, who set a 67.23, and yes, 66.91.
Down into triangle at the moment, Jason Tunnicliffe in the Peugeot 205. He's the one with the 2.1 litre engine.
And here's David Wilson, shares the Porsche with Tim Barber, who's quickest so far on the 6.32. And that's second quickest, 60.91 for his co-driver David Wilson.
Jason Tunnicliffe heading your way. We've got Paul Howells and the Porsche 911 RSR. Between you and me, Jerry, this is the one I want to drive home.
Right, complete with a sequential gearbox. Meanwhile, number 57, which is Jason Tunnicliffe, is over the line with a 62.49.
So Paul Howells heading your way. We're looking out for Mike Turpin, class record holder with a Vauxhall VX220. And dropping down in the triangle, 2.1 litre supercharged engine, of course, in the Vauxhall.
Barber and Hilton, these are 59. Yes, 59.74.
Yep, quick lad. Now we're looking out at the bottom of the hill for Becky Manton in the Fisher Fury Z-Tech. Comes into view at Fletcher's Dello.
Meanwhile, here's five-time British Hillclimb champion Mike Turpin, battling with other still in the expedition period. 59.74 is the practice pace from Paul Howell. 61.72 for
Paul.
Turpin.
Paul's beaten him on the last two occasions I've been down here at Loton Park. Becky Manton heading your way. We've got Phil Goff in the Caterham Hayabusa into and out of Triangle.
Yes, Phil Goff, all with the Liverpool Motor Club. Here's Becky Manton in the Z-Tech engine Fisher Fury, just coming out of museum now. Graham Manton said a 72.57 and Becky's on a 75.08.
So with Phil Goff heading your way, we're looking out at the bottom of the hill for Ray Law in the Caterham 7 Vauxhall. Here he comes into view.
Caterham High Booster Phil Goff is over the line now.
Ray Law into and out of keepers en route to Cedar Straight, and as he heads up there, we're looking over towards Fletcher's Dello, and here comes Ash Mason in the Westfield. Very rapid acceleration out of Triangle.
So Ray Law meanwhile with the Caterham 7. Got to the finish in 65.24. So 62.63 then. Phil Goff sets the pace so far, but for how long? Because here's Ash Mason already in museum now. Looks like a very quick exit. This could take the lead easily. I would have said yes, 58.90 for Ash Mason. And
away from the start, Simon Jenks in the Caterham S3, also Suzuki Hayabusa, but this is a 1558cc engine.
So all these last three cars are going to be quick. Andy Griffith is next up
and almost straight on for Simon Jenks, but the last minute change of direction kept the Caterham on track. Won his class at both Harewood meetings last weekend. So certainly a man on form.
Might have lost him a bit of time, those two.
Oh, he's lost about 2 seconds down here. Andy Griffiths, meanwhile, into Triangle.
So he's still pressing on up here. That's on the grass. Going on the way back to Keith Fallow, and he's over the line now. No, he's lost a bit of time, as you say, 61.39.
Andy Griffiths heading your way, looks to be about the same sort of time as Ash Mason.
Not quite so quick.
We've got Duncan Barnes coming into view with this Norma M20 FC with a 2-litre Honda engine. So Duncan Barnes majestically makes his way up the hill in this quite large sports Libra, and as he heads up towards the top, we're looking out now for Colin Satchel back to the Peugeot 205.
First time the car's been here. Got a Craftsman at Chelsea Walsh a few weeks ago in it, 64.14 for Duncan Barnes.
Well, Colin Satchel heading your way. We're looking out for Ben Hamer, first of the 1100 single-seaters in the OMS CF09. This runs a 750 turbocharged Kawasaki engine.
Looking to beat Steve Davis 63.94. Going to do it 61.36 for Colin Satchel.
So Ben Hamer heading your way. We look out for Lindsay Summers in the DJ Firehawk. Lindsay comes into view at Fletcher's Dello. And we've got the red flags already, so Lindsay Summers stopping just at the start of Cedar Straight, and Andy Greenan, who'd left the line, has also been red flagged a bit earlier on the hill. So both those cars will be eligible for reruns. So Ben's still stuck, is he?
No,
he's through the line, yeah.
Over the finish.
73.11. Crikey, that's not too bad a time, considering he had a spin.
Yeah, it took him some while to get the car pointed straight again.
And he was quite quick through the speed trap as well at 86 miles an hour, not hanging around. Andy Greenan heading back to Adam Greenan, sorry, heading back to the paddock.
I think on the Sept practice run, it was Steve Owen who set the pace in the class, Steve.
Yeah, that was, I think, Andy Greenan was second quickest, with Debbie Dunbar third.
Always very well supported and very competitive class, 1100 cc single seaters.
Yes, we've had a bit of a dearth of 1100s at Harewood this season. Only when the British Championship has come up we had a full class, but I think that's possibly due to the domination that we've seen in the last couple of years of the class by Ed Carter. Ed's been missing since mid-season, so he's still, I think, won the class and been, I think it was third in the FDD Championship with the car, so very, very quick driver at Harewood.
Oh, the class certainly been dominated this year by Robert Kenrick.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not only looks as though he's in a very strong position. He's leading both the Midland and the Libra Championship. He's 8th overall in the British Championship, and he seems to be able to, given the right conditions, set class records on each successive run right the way through the meeting.
And he's in line for a number as well.
Oh yeah, he's 8th overall.
So yeah,
I'm just trying to think of a. You may remember the last time the 1100 got a number in the championship.
You do this all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I can't remember.
You can't remember. Okay.
I'd have to look it up. I don't think it goes back quite as far as Peter Voigt with the Unity G17 back in 1970, but it's probably since then. And of course another 1100 did very well. It's Darren Gunner with a 48, 12 overall, so far. Bit of a slim chance to getting into the top 10, but it's possible.
Yeah, up there.
And Ian Davis, 48, has had a pretty good season this year. Several new ones. 3 Ford Kelvin floors, which we saw earlier today.
Now, I can't think of who's the last 1100.
No.
I mean, we've got it, you know, it's difficult. There may well have been somebody who got a 9th or a 10th place. No, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. For some reason, Charles Barter's rattling around in there, but I don't think it was Charles.
He didn't get in the, he didn't make any huge run up.
Anyway, we are back underway. It is Adam Greenan who's got back to the start line, and 100th of a second slower for the 64 foot on this rerun, heading up towards Loggerheads. And through Loggerheads, huge forward straight folding it down into Triangle. Empire Evo 2 heading into Keep. Ooh, very erratic through keepers. Looked like he was about to have an accident on a couple of occasions, but carries on, pressing on towards the top of the hill. And we look out now for Lynn Owen in the OMS 28.
Oh, the car again slides bodily sideways across the road out of Fallow. Really pressing on Adam Greenan, the car at all angles. And we'll see what the time is. It's 54.75. Great time.
We're going down into triangle with the OMS 28. As always with Lynn, perfectly judged lines, no problems whatsoever. Lynn heading up towards the top part of the hill.
I think the work so it's coming to the side. Here it is now, Lynn Owen. Nice steady braking into Fallow, no drama round the tricky left-hander. And
down into triangle, Sam Wilson in the OMS 3000M. Sam Wilson, neat and tidy, with a bit of a tail wag as he came out of triangle, but he's on to see the straight now. And we look out for Lindsay Summers on her rerun in the DJ Firehawk.
Sam Wilson's first full season in Harry Pitt's car. He's been this year. Into the museum now and out. And Debbie Dunbar went very well at Doon last weekend. Led the class for much of the time in the damp conditions. 61.36 for Sam Wilson.
Lindsay Summers on to see the straight heading your way.
And she's already here, Steve, out of Fallow and into museum. And for Lindsay Summers, it's going to be a 60.10.
And I think that's the end of the batch.
Well, at the moment, it's Adam Greenan with a distinct edge there, 54.75, and a lot of runners still to come in that class. And cars already on their way back down the hill towards you, Steve.
Right, so again, big thank you to Rybrook Shrewsbury, BMW Mini Dealers, for sponsoring the weekend. It's their 10th anniversary. Full display of cars in the paddock, including the BMW M2 that was filmed at Loton Park at the August meeting. And we're going to have a parade of cars that they're bringing tomorrow before the top 12 run off, both in the morning and in the afternoon. So the cars are heading back into the paddock, and we should get back underway with the next batch, starting off with Sports Libras, so that'll be interesting. Some very interesting cars out today in Sports Libra across the classes, although we've had a couple of, we've had Graham Lokes withdraw in number 78, the Lola T492. So he's missing. That car, an X-Sports 2000 that went on to become a special saloon. And when it raced in special saloons, it had a Volkswagen Karmann gear body.
And we've got another chance to see this Honda S2000 powered Norma. We've already seen Duncan Barnes driving it. It's Todd Newsley in this next batch. And very special. Well, he must have been driving that Maguire Mini Cooper S almost as long as Andy Russell with the Ginetta.
Well, that little Maguire Mini Cooper S started life in special saloons as a mini estate car. And the body shell for that is still alive and well up in Scotland with Mr. Matossian.
Oh yes, that's not the John Mercer car.
I don't think so. The ex-Ginger Marshall car.
Oh, well, on the 30th, yeah. Then in the over 2 litre the car, we've got this outrageous orange low with element gold, turbocharged Mitsubishi, and also Peter and Cheryl Knight 6R4 Replica is also powered by a 3 litre Mitsubishi
Yeah, I think isn't that a V6 engine, the Mitsubishi, as well, in keeping with the 6R4?
Oh, may well be.
And red flag's coming in, so cars in at the start area will be getting ready. And of course we've forgotten about the Turner.
Yes, Turner Mark II, Duncan Andrews. Who is registered for the British Championship, but originally drove his Porsche Cayman, but now running the Turner Mark II in the probably the only class available to it. He wouldn't run it in historic because that would mean he wouldn't be able to score points in the British Championship. But,
you also meet a better class of competitor in sports, Libra.
Oh yes. Oh, don't discount in that.
Oh, and it's actually Duncan Andrews who's first off the line with that Turner.
Yes.
A Turner Mark II, 1790. In fact, it's bigger than 1790. He was telling me. So I think it's 1920 or something like that. So
What's
it's quite
the
a.
engine in it?
Pardon?
What's the engine in the
It's
Turner?
based on a Ford Crossflow.
Oh, it is a Ford, yes.
So down into Triangle comes Duncan Andrews in the Turner Mark II. This is the car that we used to see for a short while in Bob Dason's hands, and then for an even longer while in Mike Moore's hands.
Oh, when Bob had it, it was yellow as opposed to orange.
That's right. It was that colour when Mike bought it, and then he repainted it in this. Oh no, he did tell me what it is. It's one of the McLaren style of oranges. Anyway, down into Triangle at the moment. Martin Watts in the mid-engine Silver Riot, powered by bit of a tail wag, powered by a Yamaha R1 engine. He's on to see the straight.
Meanwhile, Duncan Andrews 7182.
So Martin Watts on Cedar Straight. We look out for Derek Kessel in the Maguire Mini Cooperette, base range chassis, fiberglass body, DMC A-Series engine of course, was on it.
Here's Martin Watts at the museum. I think he's going to be the man to look out for in this class. And with this Yamaha engine Silver Riot, and it's a 68.51. Well, that's not as quick as Duncan Barnes by any means. He's on the 64.
Derek Kessel heading your way. We've got Alan MacDonald in this incredible Morris Mini Evo.
Kessel now at museum.
Well, Alan's really pushing on in the Mini.
And this Maguire Cooperette of Derek Kessel is over the line in 67.97. So, hopefully we'll be seeing the top view in the forward. It's so well done for fast passing so far. Here's Alan McDonald now with the forward side.
We've got Les Buck in the OMS Hornet, the 600, the only 600 here this weekend.
And Alan McDonald in the 58, 58.60.
Down in Triangle, this is another OMS Hornet. It's David Tatum in the OMS Hornet Suzuki.
So here's Les Buck in the 600cc Yamaha powered OMS Hornet. Entering the 1100s, of course, 65.74 for Les.
We're looking out for Owen red flag for Keith Weeks in the image.
Yes, that is because car number 81, David Tatum, has gone straight on at Fallow. Just getting out of the car now, just carried on about 20 yards on the grass. But it looks as though the car's going to require a bit of pushing to get it out of there. But it used to be full of bracken at one time. I remember visiting that myself on the odd occasion. But
was that straight on at museum?
no, straight on at Fallow.
Oh, straight on at Fallow.
Yeah,
right.
just onto the grass.
Right.
No, straight on the museum, you contact something that...
Well, there used to be waist-high bracken on the outside of the museum at one stage.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Christian Manif getting lost in there with his Lancia Stratos.
So there's considerable manpower now, just pushing the David Tatum car back onto the tarmac. Nobody else will go into Paddock.
Well, David came second in the Howard FTD Championship last weekend. Finished the season off in style, beaten only by Dave Banner.
Well, just deciding what to do here. I suspect the car may restart and carry on to the top. Because Dave's back in the car with the helmet on. And in fact, that's what happens. He's restarted and he's just carrying on to the top of the hill. No problem at all. Just a bit of a grass at the moment.
He recorded a speed of 100 miles an hour through the trap going into at the top end of Cedar Straight, so that might be why he went straight on.
Slightly optimistic in these conditions, perhaps.
Ever so slightly. Although Adam Greenan did a 99 through the speed trap, so maybe that 1 mile an hour was just too much.
Yeah, well, Adam is way ahead so far of this set of run, 54.75, which is quite respectable when compared with some of the big
single seaters from earlier, yeah.
About 7. But a lot of quick people still to come, including Adam Dallara and Robert Kenrick, of course, and Steve Owen, who set the pace this morning. Well, the second practice run with the Works OMS 28. So, Nick Houston, a non-starter, I think, in this class 82. So, waiting for Keith Weeks, but he went back for a rerun, so he probably won't be the next car up. So maybe it'll reoccur. The turbocharged Kawasaki car down there, CFO9, we saw earlier, it hasn't been able.
Our road flag's coming in, so we're going to be underway shortly. And we are underway, and it is Will Kerr in the OMS CFO9 carbon fibre tub. This runs the 750 turbocharged Kawasaki engine. And Will through loggerheads, out at Fletcher's Gallows, darts down towards Triangle. Bit of a backfire, and the Battleship Grey OMS heading into, and starting to smoke quite badly as he went through keepers onto Cedar Straight.
So that's when he comes into sight. Oh, he's still going pretty quickly, can't see too much front now. Runs a little bit wide, but keeps it on the black stuff coming out of Farrow. His twin brother, and he is his brother, despite the fact he's got different names. Ben Amos had a spin at the top of the hill.
Clive Austin down into Triangle with the Empire Race Suzuki. And Clive Austin through, quite steadily through keepers, onto Cedar Straight. And away from the start line, Andy Greenan in the Empire Evo 2 that we saw Adam post a 54.75 in.
Right, he's Clive Austin in the Empire race.
So Andy Greenan through the bottom part of the hill, no problems at all, although he did unload a lot of water off the rear wing as he came out of Triangle. Now heading up towards the top part of the hill.
Yes, steadily into sight. Oh, and then gives you the boost for the extra fellow and gets him back out of 45 degrees. And, wheel spin coming out of the museum. Well, 58.06 for Andy Greenan.
Down in Triangle at the moment, it's Steve Owen in the OMS 28 Suzuki.
Earlier on, Cabby beat Adam Greenan 54.75.
Must be a couple of seconds quicker than Andy Greenan as he headed up Cedar Straight.
First of all, we've got Steve Owen, and it looks like it might just be on to take the lead in this final practice session. Not quite, 55.02. Steve Owen, second ticket.
Down into Triangle at the moment, Tom New in the Norma Honda. And Tom sweeping through keepers onto Cedar Straight.
Well, his co-driver Duncan Barnes quickest so far in this session, that's 64. And his Tom now, his car, filling the road coming out of Fallow. And smoothly round. He's there. Looks like he's going to take the lead. 59.
Harry Pick down into Triangle with the OMS 3000. Oh, gets a big slide on, has to slow back off to get control, but carries on through keepers already, en route to the top part of the hill. Harry Pick.
They're still chasing that 54.75 from Adam Greenan. Can Harry Pick do it? He's had some good results this year.
Coming into view at the moment, Debbie Dunbar in the DJ Firehawk. Into and out of Triangle.
57.36 for Harry Pick. Looks like about third so far.
So Debbie Dunbar onto the run up Cedar Straight. We look out now for Keith Weeks in the Image. This little car starting life as a Formula Ford 1600. Now running a Suzuki.
Well, Debbie Dunbar always quick in the wet, particularly at Green last weekend. Looks like a quick run now from Debbie. And it's a 54.88 up to catch down the Sweden. But that's quickest in this section.
So Keith Weeks taking a nice steady run in the Image onto Cedar Straight already. And the next car we'll see at the bottom here is number 93 Lee Griffiths. He's in an OMS 2000V. This is the car that Harry Pick drove last year.
A bit of an off-in pace in there, no worse for that. As meanwhile, Keith Weeks now with this Formula 4 based Image heading to the line and something on by 69.93.
So as Lee Griffiths heads up Cedar Straight, we look out for Darren Gundley in the Force TA, running one of the 1 litre Kawasaki engines.
So here's Lee Griffiths in the museum, driving the 2000M, the car that used to be driven many years ago by Trevor Willis. 2 litre box 64.73.
So Darren Gundley heading your way. We've got Enoch, the Welsh landscaper, into and out of the triangle.
Out of the landscape so far, he's into the museum already. That's, well, in fact, that's Darren Gumley first of all, before we see landscaper Enoch Price. And it's 56.09 for Darren Gumley.
Inan, as always, typical ex-rally driver. Down into triangle, Jack Cottrell in the Force PT. Already yards to the line, which he crosses in 54.85. Just a tenth of a second slower than fastest man so far, Adam Green, and he's still out front. And only 300s quicker than Debbie Dunbar. Now, down into triangle, Robert Kendrick in the GWR Raptor 2, BMW powered. And going very, very quickly.
And here's Jack Cottrell now, he's over the line with 55.27.
So Robert Kendrick heading your way. We're moving up into the next class, or the next sort of set of dual-driven cars, which is Liam Cooper in the Force TA, shares with his wife Olivia.
Well, here's Robert Kendrick already has so it looks as though quickest in practice then in this class is Adam Green at 54.75. Next up is going to be Enoch Price, 54.84, and in third place Sept Dunbar, 54.88.
Popping into our view at the bottom of the hill, Caroline Ryder in the Empire Evo. There's the car with Tom Mack, who we'll see a little bit later.
So 59.50 for Liam Cooper. And Caroline Ryder on the hill now, and into side round Fallow, up the hill into Museum. Matthew Ryder's mum, of course, and we'll see Matthew a little bit later on. He scored his, got into his first British run-off here with points in June, in fact, 60.20 for Caroline Ryder. Lloyd Chaplin, as Steve told you, is a non-starter in 816.
And off the start line already, Alan Warburton in the X-Works Gould GR59. All the cars in J2 running Suzuki Hayabusa engines. Alan comes into view, down into triangle, inside line into the corner. Nice acceleration between there and keepers onto Cedar Straight. And as Alan Warburton heads up the hill, we're moving on now into the dual-driven 2 litres with Nikki Cottrell in the Pilbeam MP82 that she shares with her husband.
And here's Alan Warburton exiting Museum. And finishing 60.86.
And Nikki Cottrell lost the engine in the Pilbeam coming around triangle and has come to a halt.
Cheers. Shall I open the gate? Or
So that was 60.86 for Alan Warburton.
Nikki Cottrell first double-driven car in K1, which is the normally aspirated 2-litre single-seater class.
Yeah, the car came to a halt. We came out of triangle and there was sort of like a little bit of a pop and it died. So a couple of marshals in attendance, they're going to push the car back.
And we've got an additional runner in this batch, as Steve mentioned earlier. Steve Marr, number 88, in a couple of cars' time, is sharing Jonathan Varley's GWR apprentice at BG. after Steve had engine problems at Doom last weekend with his VCD Saxon Suzuki.
Yeah, the engine's sitting on the floor in the paddock after the Saxon.
But he's keeping it in the family because the Saxon originally designed by former Team Lotus designer Martin Ogilvy, who also designed the Raptors and the Predator, which was the forerunner of the GWR Raptors.
So basically the grandfather of the
Grandfather
Raptors.
of Robert Kenrick's car. Yeah. So, Graham White Jr. having a good season this year with two of his cars in the British Championship top 10. Correction, really.
I was going to say, I was just looking for my list.
I knew I'd said that wrong. I was checking it as I spoke. Yes, of course, that's Richard Spedding, Robert Kenrick and Les Much.
Robert Kenrick and Les Much. And in fact, I would hazard a guess that those three are going to stay in the top 12, top 10. I can't see them being bumped out by anybody.
I can't see Les getting bumped out. He's
no, he's too big, too chunky a lad. Well, Nicky Cottrell back into the paddock. We're just waiting for the next car to come to the line.
Yes, Cottrell has had one season problems with that.
And it's Steve Marr off the line in the GWR Predator, now running a 2-litre Ford BDG engine. This is the car that Jonathan Varley competes in.
Originally ran a Big 10 Arrows when Graham
Steve Marr down into Triangle. Going very well indeed earlier today. Looking very poised and quick, in fact, through the bottom part of the hill. And he's sort of on the sort of, I would have thought, sub 60-second pace without any doubt.
Yes, just sly as the tail coming out of Fallow on the damp course. And he's already heading to the line. Although that BDG doesn't sound as good as it should do, I don't think. 59.96 for Steve Marr.
And that is the end of the match. So the cars will start to make their way back down to the paddock. Those dual-driven cars there. Other driver will get aboard. Quite often this requires a seat change. And I know a couple of drivers who used to share a little single-seater route. They had two sets of seat belts in the car, so they didn't have to alter the seat belts when they changed over. So those changeovers will be taking place, and we'll see those cars again a little bit later. So again, big thank you to Rybrook Shrewsbury, BMW and Mini dealers, for sponsoring this weekend on their 10th birthday. And pop along to the paddock where the BMW M2 and one of the Cooper BMW on display. We're going to have some parades tomorrow prior to the top 12 runoffs. So a big thank you to Rybrook Shrewsbury, BMW and Minis. bit more tomorrow. Right, well, we're back underway, and it's the Formula Fords on the hill. Chris Warden leading the way with the 1991 Swift down into Triangle. So these cars run a standard road tyre, Avon road tyre. They're all space frame chassis, all running the Ford Kent engine 1600 through a Hewland gearbox. Chris heading up towards the top of the hill. We look out now for Paul Morecambe in the Merlin Mark 11A. One of the earliest cars, if not the earliest car in the class here today.
Also one of the quickest, had a class win against all the modern, or inverted commas modern, Formula Fords recently. And Chris Warden's over the line with the 73.23.
So Paul Morecambe heading your way. We're looking out for the 1992 Van Diemen of Charlie Riley.
And here's Paul Morecambe already up into final 10.
Charlie Riley into Triangle.
68.87 for Paul Morecambe.
So Charlie Riley, no problems at all at the bottom part of the hill. He's on his route to the top. And we look out for Simon Macbeth in the 1992 Swift.
Could you give us the time for Chris Warden again, please, Steve?
Chris Warden's time 73.23. Paul Morecambe 68.87. Simon Macbeth down into Triangle in this 1992 Swift.
And Charlie Riley now crossing the line. He's completed this car on the continent before now. 66.79. That's the lead time so far.
So with Simon Macbeth in the Swift heading up towards the top part of the hill, we look out for Samantha Lester in the 1992 Van Diemen.
Simon Macbeth very quick into Palo, late on the brakes, and racing down very smoothly. And he's already at 7.9 with Charlie Riley's lead time. It might just not quite. 66.95 for Simon Macbeth.
Samantha Lester already on to Cedar Straight. She's about half a second up on Simon Macbeth's time, and a bit better than Charlie Riley, so that could be the lead. Down into triangle now, very rare car, a Chevron B68 driven by Charles Williams. Chevron only made about a dozen Formula Fords. This is one of, we believe, 5 or 6 B68s.
Oh, Sam Lester indeed quicker than the others, 66.01.
So Charles Williams heading towards you in the Chevron. He'll be the last runner in the class.
So 3 cars in the 66s. So it's a close fought class this. And here's Charles Williams now with the rare Chevron B68. And it's a 69.49.
Down into triangle, Olivia Cooper in the Frost TA. She's the Ladies Hill record holder with a 48.04. I'll be interested to see what sort of time Olivia can manage in the wet.
So into class J2 now, 1600 cc single C2. Postman Lear set a 59.50. She set the pace so far in this practice session. Here's Olivia now, got into one of the British runoffs at Doon last weekend, as she did at Shelsley Walsh at the beginning of August. And
Neil Coles, meanwhile, in the RMS 28 through triangle, with a bit of a hesitation on the exit as he straightened it all up. And he's on the same sort of pace that Olivia was on, maybe a couple of tenths slower.
And Neil Coles took fastest time of the day at Gerson Down a couple of weeks ago with this car. A new chassis for him this year, running the engine that he used to run in his older ONS.
Mark Dalton now pops into view in the Empire Evo, down into triangle.
Just 200 slower than Olivia Cooper.
So Mark Dalton looking to be a little bit quicker than Olivia at the bottom of the hill. We'll have to see what it's like at the top end. Meanwhile, we look out for John McKenzie in the 2000E. This is a rebuilt 6000M. John McKenzie going very well indeed.
Late on the brakes in to follow for Mark Dalton. And it's paid off 57.98. That's the new leader in this group.
And we've got red flags on the hill. And I think we have a spin just out of my view for John McKenzie.
So at the moment it's Mark Dalton with the Empire Evo on 57, and we've got the 258s split by 200s of Olivia Cooper and Neil Coles.
Yeah, John McKenzie just did a 180 and ended up facing the wrong way. So that's, and he's already heading back down to the paddock.
I think this fight is probably going to be between Les Much and David Warburton on current tour.
Yeah, but I don't think you could rule out either Zach Zammit or Matt Ryder either. They're both very quick.
No, they are both quick.
Certainly both of them on paper are as quick, if not quicker, than Les Much. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of performance they get tomorrow when we're back again for the real deal, as it were.
The real competition, yes.
Yes.
I say on current form because I'm going by dues really.
Oh, right.
Because both qualified for the run-off.
Yeah, well again you see Les, it's his home turf. He's always quick at Doon, no matter what he drives. Anyway, we are underway, and it is that Scotsman Les Much in the GWR Raptor. He's going to be the 2018 British Hillclimb Leaders Class winner in J2. And looking to be not quite as quick as John McKenzie, but he's into triangle already. Still behind John McKenzie's time. And he's into and out of keepers and onto Cedar Straight. And at keepers he was ahead of John Mackenzie's time.
This is quicker then. He's through the apex of Fallow already, rocketing up the hill towards the museum. And he's just stuttering a bit as he puts down the tower. Pretty good run.
Zach Zammit, meanwhile, into triangle, takes a very, very late day, puts the power down quickly, and he's moving very rapidly. He's, I would say, 0.8 of a second up on Les Much's time, nearly a full second as he came out of keepers. So Zach Zammit on a charge.
What can the British Hillclimb Champion do? A little bit slower through Fallow than Les, but it's going to be a quicker time. He's going to take the lead in this practice session. 54.07, half a second quicker than Les Much.
Now dropping down into triangle, Matt Ryder in the Empire Evo.
Made the cut for his first British champion run off here in June.
As I predicted, he too is quicker than Zach Zammit, so this is going to be absolutely tremendous. A battle of the young guns.
And David Wilbert to come.
Yeah, and David Wilbert has just left the line.
Oh, this looks very smooth run from Matthew Ryder.
Yeah.
Right, Steve, he could take the lead, 54.07 to lead. And it's 52.55.
David Warburton, meanwhile, already through triangle into keepers, and he's looking to be about half a second down on Matt Ryder at that point.
52.55 is indeed the third fastest time we've seen today, so great run from him. What could David Wilbert do? He was flying at Doon last weekend, doesn't look quite so quick back,
and he's actually ahead of him at Museum on the split.
Yes, he is. It's going to be a 52.01.
Right, we're into Class K1 now with Andrew Colburn in the Van Diemen. This is the RFO2 FX running a 2-litre Ford Z-Tech engine. These cars were in the Far East where they ran as a single-seater, and then they put a different bodywork on and they became centre-seat sports libras.
Here he is now in the Van Diemen. Slides the tail and loses a fraction of time coming out of Fallow there. A little bit more surface.
George Bleasdale in triangle. George Bleasdale taking it very steadily in the Pilbeam. This runs the 2-litre Rover V6 engine.
Similar to the engine run by Tom New in a similar car. That was an MP62, that Pilbeam, that one. So here's George Bleasdale now. He's been running this car. How many years has he been running this thing?
Oh, a lot. Mike Tregonning, meanwhile, in the similar MP88 with the 2-litre Duratec engine through triangle.
5 kilos for George Bleasdale.
And Mike Tregonning onto Cedar Straight. We look out now for number 126, Joshua Moss in the 1999 Formula 3 Dallara.
And here's Mike Tregonning now. Ooh, back to both the car. And Mike Tregonning 16.95.
Joshua Moss onto Cedar Straight. Next car we'll see down at the bottom, Tim Elmer, another 1999 Formula 3 Dallara, and this one running the TKD YV8.
Dallara, Formula 3 car, and he stopped the clock for 58.70, which sets the place so far.
Tim Elmer heading your way. He's about 0.8 of a second down on Joshua's time.
Here's Tim Elmer already up into museum now with his Dallara. He's been campaigning for some while too with, as you say, one of Terry Davis's Yamaha-based V8s in it, and it's 60.3.
We now look out for number 128, Andrew Henson, in the Gould Dallara. The actually on the Shelley Egg Marshall car, and Andrew very quickly into Triangle. He's about the same time as Joshua Moss, within a few hundredths. On to Cedar Straight already.
Ben Butterfield went very quickly in this car, taking records of both run-off wins at Doon. Must be some 15 years ago now. So the car resurfaced in the hands of Andrew Henson. 58.70 sets the pace in this practice session at the moment. And it's
Jonathan Varley into and out of the Triangle with the GWR Predator, 2-litre Ford BDG engine. Jonathan already into and out of keepers onto Cedar Straight, and he's 2 seconds quicker than Andrew Henson.
Yes, it looks as though he should be clearly, and that is very quick. Leaves the braking quite late, but very smoothly into Fallow and into Museum. Yeah, this looks like a quick run. It's going to be easily quickest with a 54.17. And that is ahead then of Andrew Henson, and Josh Moss is the quickest. So now we should have
I think the next car we'll see is Bernie Kevill, but it did come up on the timing screen momentarily and then disappeared.
Nothing, no time.
No, nothing.
Ticking, so...
Yep.
So these are the double-driven cars in the over 2-litre single-seated car. And it's defending champion Trevor Willis, who's fastest in practice so far with a 51.61. And the only other driver in 51 is Wallace Mears on a 51.70, so just 900 in it before we see the car practice for the final time. It's the double drivers first.
And of those, Bernie Kevill leads the way with the OMS 28. This runs another of the Terry Davis TKD engines, but this one based on 2 Suzuki Hayabusas. First time for Bernie here at Loton Park with this car. He and Simon were competing, I believe, at Shelton, was it last weekend?
Yes, I think that was the first time out for the new car.
So Bernie already on to Cedar Straight. He's on a par with Tim Elmer's time.
So here's Bernie Kevill, very today's approach back, doesn't take any chances with the braking coming into Furrow. And obviously with the brand new car, not pushing it too hard on this initial outing, 60.04 for Bernie Kevill.
And popping into view at Fletcher's Dello, Tony Hunt in the Gould GR37. We've got the Cosworth DFR engine in, function car for Tony Hunt and co-driver Terry Graves.
Yes, Terry's had this one sorted away in his garage.
Absolutely. It's been the spare.
It's the one that Tim Painter and Andy Fraser used to drive, that was built for them.
And I can remember Chris Kramer driving it to Chelsea one year. Down into Triangle, we've got Richard Summers in the DJ Firestorm.
59.96 for Tony Hunt.
Well, Richard Summers storming his way to the top of the hill in the DJ. And very quick at the bottom part of the hill, a couple of seconds up on Tony Hunt. Carrying that advantage, in fact getting quicker as he goes.
Yes, he's pushing the car harder every time he drives in. It only appeared at
Down is the triangle at the moment, 909. Nicola Minguez in the Gould GR55B. 3.5 litre Nicholson McLaren V8 powering this single-seater. And she's about a second down on Richard Summers' time.
Well, that ended up at 54.78. And here's Nicola now. Into museum, very steady drive. It's going to be something like 57.84 for Nicola Minguez.
And that's the end of the batch. Those cars will be coming back down the hill.
So it looks as though we're now going to see what will probably be the final batch of cars. I guess they'll add those two extra classic cars, Richard Jones and Stuart Ridge, onto the end of this batch, I suspect, rather than just bring them up on their own. We'll see how that hangs out. Meanwhile, it's still Trevor Willis with the fastest batch time so far, 51.61 for British Minguez, 51.70, and just a 52.73 is Alex Summers in third place, and just 100th of a second splits Jason Morant and Will Hall in fourth and fifth. That, of course, is in the 2 litre class. Overall, in fact, third fastest time that we've seen looks to be David Warburton, 52.01, which is first time overall, and then we've got 52.53 from Matt Ryder. The cars come back down the hill. What are the track conditions like at your end, Steve? It's still a bit damp up here.
It doesn't seem to have got any drier, to tell you the truth.
No,
there's quite a lot of damp patches just as you come up into Triangle from the dip, and then seems to be uniformly damp all the way through the S's at Keepers. But there is a distinct dry line starting to work out at Fletcher's Dello. You can't really see that down here at Triangle. It's a little bit too damp at the moment. So I don't think we're going to see any major changes in relation to the sort of speeds we've been seeing. We're going to be stuck with this sort of halfway between full wet and dry. Some very interesting times being put up by the smaller capacity engine cars, the 1100s and the 1600 competitors in particular, going well. Maybe that, if we have these sort of conditions replicated tomorrow, that'll be an indication of the people going to be knocking on the door to join in the top 12 runoff.
Indeed. Checking those. They're on top of time again. For Hyman Price. Do you remember what Steve Owen's time was in the second? No, it was 4:75 from Adam Green. That's which would be the quickest pace on the third practice run.
Right, what was the question? Steve Owen's second run was a 54.86.
Ah, right, so that's just 100 slower than Adam Green's time on his third run. No.
A 10th.
10th slower, yes.
And 100 slower than Enoch Price. So Steve Owen's third fastest over the 3 runs of the 1100s. Debbie Dunbar's 4th, Jack Cottrell 5th on a 55.27, and Darren Gumbley 6th, 56.09.
Yeah, potentially they might be somewhere near run-on pace if it was based on today's time. Could all change tomorrow, but...
and in the 1600s, David Warburton fastest, 52.01, from
yes.
Matt Ryder, 52.55.
Which are in fact third and fourth quickest overall.
And Zach Zammit third, 54.07, 2/10 quicker than Les Much.
Yeah, you're going some way down to the 54s because we've got a couple of 52s in there as well as Warburton and Ryder.
Jonathan Varley's best time 54.17. We've yet to see the forced induction cars take their third practice run.
Yes, of course we've got.
So Richard Spedding will be interested to see what he matches.
Well, we've got quite a few people in the 54s at the moment. There's a couple in the 51s, 4 in the 52s. 2 of which are 1600s.
Yeah, Scott Moran so far 54.69, and Richard Summers 54.78. So they're the 2 big single seaters that are in the 54s. Everybody, then you've got Will Hall, Jason Moran, Alex Summers, Wallace Mingus, and Trevor Willis fastest 51.61, but they were all on their second time runs. And I think possibly it might be a little bit quicker than that because it's not quite as heavy.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering what track conditions like.
Well, it's not as totally wet, but there's no dry line appearing. Anyway, we're back underway, and it's 1:32. Pete Tatum in the OMS 25 leading the way. 1300cc Supercharged Suzuki Hayabusa engine in the back of the little OMS. Pete comes into view, dropping down into triangle. A little bit of a judder under braking. He's into and out of keepers and heading up towards Cedar Straight on the par with Tony Hunt's time.
So waiting for your dear, here he is now.
Meanwhile, Tina Hawks in the Force PC into and out of triangle already.
Relatively new car for Pete Tatum, drove it for the first time at Prescott a few weeks ago, beginning of this month, and it's 60.77.
And Tina Hawks seems to be about a second and a half quicker, heading up towards the top part of the hill.
And she's already through Farrow. Now, car turbocharged for the first time this year. 57.62 Tina Hawks.
Right, we now look out for Kelvin Broad in this new Force PA 1300cc Supercharged. Goes very deep into the triangle. That's a good look at the apex from about 2 yards away. Already up into keepers and onto Cedar Straight. And he's about a second and a half quicker than Tina Hawks at the exit of keepers.
Well, into Fallow now in the new car and safely out. Museum beckons and a bit of understeer on the exit for Kelvin Broad, but he's heading for the line, and it's 56.21.
Down towards triangle now, John Chalmers in the Ralph F302. 1400cc turbocharged booster engine. John on to Cedar Straight, and he's about the same sort of time as Kelvin Broad, within a couple of hundreds.
And here's John Chalmers now in this car which he built about 4 or 5 years ago now, I think it was. Based on the Formula 3 Raw chassis, one of the last ones. 5620.
Down into triangle, Simon Moy, the Gould GR59 supercharged booster, and he's about over a second slower than John Chalmers as he heads onto Cedar Straight. He's pulled a little bit of that time back. He's got to within half a second.
So here is the GR59 now, the sister car to the turbocharged version of Paul Hames. This one is supercharged.
Paul Hames now pops into view with his GR59. Paul Hames into keepers.
He was a little better than that, I think, with his turbo car.
Paul about a second behind Simon as they exited keepers.
Looks pretty quick.
Richard Spedding now in triangle. And Richard Spedding heading your way, probably 2.5 seconds quicker than Paul.
Yeah, just a bit of a twitch on the exit of Fallow for Richard Spedding. All gets in sideways on the exit of the museum as well, but it's going to be a quick time. 52.91 for Richard Spedding. So that looks like 5th, 6th, 7th quickest overall.
And we move swiftly on into the over 2 litre class with Terry Graves off the line with the Gould GR37. Terry from Lanson in Cornwall.
On this third final practice session of tomorrow's competition.
And he's about a second down on John Chalmers' time at that point.
Well, here he is now, braking nice and early for Fallow. And the big copper DFR engine machine gets the power down up the hill into the museum. Squeezes the throttle. And it's going to be quicker than before, or is it? Not quite. 58.02 for Terry Graves.
Paul Crook now pops into view with the Jaguar V6 powered OMS 28. Yeah, 61.4 his best time, and he's about 1.2 or less, probably 0.9 down on Terry Graves.
He's certainly quicker into Fallow than Terry.
Down in the triangle at the moment, Sandra Tomlin in the Pilbeam.
He goes in 59.85 time for Paul Crook.
Sandra Tomlin onto Cedar Straight. Sandra looks to be taking it nice and steadily, a couple of seconds slower than Paul Crook.
Yes, pretty steady round Fallow.
Graham Wynn down into triangle with the 55.
the road by Sandra, 65.59.
So Graham win. About half a second quicker than Paul Haynes at that point. Graham, his best time 58.89 so far today.
And Graham Wynn exiting museum now. 58 on his opener. This one's going to be quicker. 56.19 for Graham Wynn.
Now we've got Alex Summers. The DJ Firestorm in the triangle. This was the 2.5 litre Cosworth KS engine. And wow, 20.36 going into triangle. And sub 30 to keepers. So he's on the charge. Best time so far 52.73. That's today.
Oh, one of 6 drivers in the 52s. He's already out of museum under power. This could be a lot quicker. 51.60. That
goes quickest.
That's quickest by hundredths of a second from Trevor Willis.
Dave Uran away from the start line in the GR55B, 3.5 litre Nicholson McLaren engine. And Dave a little bit quicker to loggerheads than Alex Summers, dropping down into triangle already, into out the corner. Fractionally quicker than Alex to triangle. What's he going to be to keepers? And he's slightly slower at keepers than Alex Summers, so the big speed on the straight may pull it back.
We'll see in a moment because he's here already. Very tidy line out of Fallow as he goes into museum now.
Scott Moran into triangle. Super smooth as always, a little bit slower than Dave Duran, but I reckon Scott's just getting his eye in, ready for tomorrow.
Just looking out for the 6 times champion now, to appear. Here he is. Here's those pretty quick up Cedar Straight. Once again, no fireworks around. Hello. Slightly hesitant getting on the power out here. And 53.49 for Scott.
That's his best time. Jason Moran driving down here to triangle at the big goal. A couple of tenths down on Dave Uren's time at triangle, and he's on to Cedar Straight, and again a couple of tenths down on Dave Uren at that point.
Into Fallow now, and out comes Jason Moran. He needs that good result tomorrow to try and make up ground on Dave Uren. He's got ahead of him at speed.
51.65 for Jason Moran, that puts him third, fastest. And looking out for Will Hall, here comes Will into fourth, down into triangle, flying into triangle, takes the scenic route round the corner, and looking very, very spectacular, sub 20 seconds into triangle, but only 29.66 coming out of keepers, so he's lost a fair bit of time here. But will he pull it back on the straight? 109 through the trap.
He's all very slow though. They getting the power down on the edges of Fallow. But he'll want to gauge the conditions in case they're like this tomorrow. But it's still going to be a quick run. 51.71 for Will Hall.
It was his fastest, but at the moment he's only in the big class. He's in, let me get this right, 5th. The next car we should see is number 2, Wallace Minguez, in the Gould GR59.
It's all pretty close though. We've got a 51.61, 51.65, 51.70, 51.71. So that's Moran, Hall, Minguez and Willis. And 51.6.
And Wallace Minguez into his stride, matches the 64-foot time of Will Hall. Heading towards loggerheads. And at loggerheads, he's about 4/10 down on Will. Now he's down towards triangle. Into triangle. Again, slightly slower than Will Hall at that point. Now into keepers. Through keepers onto Cedar Straight, and he's only 200s down on Will Hall's time at that point.
This is quick into fallow from Wallace. Takes a big chunk of curve on the open, and he's already out of museum. This is going to be a sub 50 from the Scotsman. No, it's not. It's a 51.32.
Goes fastest though into our view now. Big snap of oversteer for Trevor Willis into triangle. Heat 2 coming into the corner. Goes in deep into keepers already. He was the quickest into triangle. He's just 4/10 down. 4/10 ahead of Wallace coming out of keepers.
Well, he wants the psychological advantage of going fastest overall in practice. He's going to be 51.32 as he comes into the other cars easily, and it's 50.30 from the defending champion. So Trevor Willis, fastest in practice, 50.30. In second place, 51.32, it's Wallace Mingus, and in third place, looks like 51.60 from Alex Summers.
Right, well we did get Richard Jones coming down into triangle, but he locked up coming into the corner, skidded straight on, and came to a halt against the tyre wall, and he's in the car and just removing his crash helmet, and the paramedic checking out Richard, so it looks okay, and but obviously the paramedic in attendance just to be on the safe side. So Richard getting out of the car. And obviously as a precaution going into the rescue unit for a further check. So making his way unaided into the rescue unit, so hopefully he'll be perfectly okay, although the car looks a little bit worse for the wear at the front end. Looks to be mainly superficial damage to the nose of the Brabham.
4. Yeah, gate shut. The gate shut, flag coming in.
And we're back underway again with Stuart Ridge in the Pilbeam MP53 chassis 01, running this 2.8 litre Hart 4-cylinder. This was the engine to have and the chassis to have at one stage in the British Hillclimb Championship. Stuart Ridge down into Triangle Bend, into Keepers. On to Cedar Straight and heading up to you, Jerry.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, this should be the final run of the day in this practice session. Here's Stuart Ridge now with his ex-Martin Griffiths MP53 with one of those Hart engines that powered so many hill climb cars in that period. And Stuart Ridge 61.23. So that looks like it for today, Steve.
Yeah, I think it is indeed, Jerry. I think we've concluded our 3 practice runs, and Marshall's already starting to pack up, ready to leave their Marshall's posts, nice and neat and tidy as always. Big thank you to the Marshals today for being out there in some pretty mild conditions. Big thank you to all the spectators who've attended today. We'll be doing it all again tomorrow, and British Hillclimb Championship points on the table. Be here tomorrow for the Hillclimb finale, to the leaders and to the Hillclimb Championship, and also to the Midland leaders and Midland Hillclimb Championship. So I'm going to sign off now, Jerry, and I'll see you back in the paddock.
Thank you, Steve. Well, don't miss. All the action starts tomorrow at 9:15, the championship decider. We'll see you then.